Welcome back to another episode of the Ultimate Hunters Podcast. I'm Levi
So
Ridenhour,
I'm Kirk Washington.
and this week we're going to talk about success stories
Yeah,
and basically whatever else other rabbit trails we go down today.
there will be plenty. I'm
There
full
will
of
be.
them. I want to just kind of reiterate like where we left off on episode 2 was we were going over success versus failure. And as we talked about, there was a lot more failure that I think comes through hunting and kind of like how to revert, like understand like that's going to happen and don't be so discouraged
I
because
agree.
like there's so many times I've just wanted to throw my bow down or weapon down and just be done with it.
Just hang it up.
Yeah. I mean, go fishing. I've never had a bad day fishing.
I mean, no, I guess I haven't.
No,
But
there's never a bad day of fishing. I mean, that old saying like, you know, what is it? A good day of work, like
it's a bad
never.
day of fishing is better than a good day at work.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, um, but anyways, do you got anything like new going on? Is off topic right now?
Anything new?
Besides busting your finger today at work?
No, that's not new. That's every day.
Yeah. So you've got your own plumbing company. That's
Yeah.
kind of how you make ends meet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Little and
I plumb in order to be able to afford to hunt. That's the way I my life is.
is that kind of how you tried to like square up your life to where it's like what can allow me like to be outdoors more, like to
100%.
working.
Yeah, 100%. Because I actually went to college. You know that. I went to college to be a physical therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I did the undergrad and then I didn't get into physical therapy school, but then I also like when I didn't get in, I realized that that was probably a good thing because as a physical therapist, if I didn't have my own practice, then I wouldn't be able to just go and hunt whenever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got into plumbing, and when I worked for the first plumber, I mean, I could take off whenever I wanted. And then I went out on my own, and it's even better because now I can literally build my schedule around what seasons are in. And I mean, plumbing, anyone listen to this, plumbing is not the ideal blue collar trade for hunting because of the fact that when somebody needs a plumber, they need a plumber then.
Immediately. That's what we talked
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
And you can't control when the builders finish the houses. So it is a little more difficult because like I try to schedule trips and stuff and then a house comes up and is like, "Oh, we're ready now." And then, you don't want to make them wait.
Yeah.
So really, if you want to build a career that allows you to hunt, build decks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do keep my clients like first in priority. Like business
Mhm.
comes first. Like that's
Oh, obviously, yeah.
no no exception.
Mm-mm.
But I have to work really hard to make sure that like I'm like getting work done and lining it up to be able to take off. So I try to schedule out super like in advance, um, knowing like okay, this like I'm gonna do this at this point, like this weekend or and then just try to make sure I line up or get the right work done. I mean, I've worked a
Yeah.
lot of weekends just to
Oh yeah.
stay caught up.
Oh
But
yeah.
no, I was gonna tell you, so you know what I wanted to be like all throughout childhood and like even into high school, I guess until my senior year of high school. I wanted to be a game warden for
Really?
so listen, this is so good. This is so good. For the sole purpose because I felt like game wardens could be outdoors and be able to hunt.
No, it's actually the opposite. Well, you
It's
get to be outdoors,
yeah, you get to be outdoors, but
but
your busiest season is going out catching bad guys
yeah.
during hunting season.
Oh yeah, you don't get to hunt.
So
very,
I
yeah,
got a English paper my senior year, and it was like a career, like what you want to do for a career. And really, I hadn't thought of it too in depth other than that, like knowing that, like I thought I maybe wanted to go down the game warden route. And so I spoke to some game wardens, I don't know, at some kind of restaurant, and I was like,
mhm,
so, how is it like being able to go hunt? And they kind of just laughed at me and was like, yeah, we don't hunt.
yeah.
And
No,
I'm
you
like,
can't.
all right, English paper, not that. So what's
Yeah,
funny, I actually wrote the paper on physical therapy.
really.
Yeah,
Physical
and
therapy
so,
is cool, dude. It's awesome. I love the human body. It
yeah,
amazes me.
and I did sports and ran cross country and track. So
Mhm.
like I had to go through some physical therapy at one time, and like yeah, I like the concept of taking care of your body and doing all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's
No,
yeah,
it
a
was
little
it's
bit.
cool. I mean, it really interested me, but like I said, it's not as forgiving as some other stuff. And I
Yeah.
have, though. I have literally built my life around creating opportunities to hunt. And
Yeah.
I'm still working on it. I mean, I'm only 25, you know. I hope that when I'm in my 30, like mid 30s and 40s, and I've got it
Mhm.
made to where I can literally just whatever I want,
Did
whenever
you
I
gra-
need.
did you graduate in 2016?
From high school, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. That was the same year
Hmm.
I graduated. I thought you
Yeah.
were I thought you were a year or two above me.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No. Graduated
Nice.
in 2016, graduated college in 2020.
Yeah. Well, I guess new life update for me is we're having a girl.
You are having a girl.
So, um yeah, we found out the gender, set up and did a reveal this past weekend. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that turned out pretty cool. I wish I could have made it,
Yeah.
but
It
no.
was nice. Hooter Holler Off-Road Park down there in Mountain Grove, Missouri. They kind of helped
Hmm.
us out. And, um, yeah, we set up and did the explosion, which ended up being way bigger than
Dude,
I thought.
it was big.
Well, so I had a stand made. It was like 4x4s and two by
Yeah.
four, and then a steel plate 2x2, or yeah, 2 foot by 2 foot steel plate. And I put these Firebird exploding discs on there, and it was probably like it's probably about like a 1 foot by 1 foot like square
Hmm.
of those discs. And so I shot at 100 yards, and then so it hit that and exploded and completely dented in that steel. Like
Oh wow.
it was heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It dented in that steel like 4 inches, and then just completely destroyed the 2x4s and 4x4
Yeah.
posts and threw
That's
them into the
awesome.
creek behind it. Yeah, the video I recorded all the
Yeah.
videos, so I'm excited to like actually post that whole
Oh, I'm ready
ordeal.
for you to get it out. It was awesome.
Well, it was cool because I had to try some different products and get it figured out. But I think anyone who does archery, I think they'll love this because most of the time you just see like a balloon, you
Hmm.
know, with archery. And I mean guns are easy, just use tannerite for an explosion. But
Right. Yeah.
I think it'll be cool. So
It
all
will
right,
be
well,
cool.
diving into the success
Yep.
of what success we've had from archery. Or it doesn't have to be archery. It can be, you know, gun or whatever. But do you have any stories that like pop off in your head of like a success story that you felt like was like your light died again? Oh, there we go. So of a success story that you felt like wasn't necessarily like you deserved it, but like you felt like it was coming eventually, I guess.
Well, I guess the biggest success story that I have is the biggest buck I've killed.
Mm-hmm.
That he's a 151. Uh, he I don't know. Let me think about how to say this. So I felt like I didn't deserve him because I wasn't hunting him, right? If that
Yeah.
makes sense. Right. So I've been hunting two different deer every weekend from September 15th till whatever the date where the rifle opener was that year. And so
You like the same caliber?
yeah, they were the same caliber for
Yeah.
sure. But I hunted every weekend, hunted hard. Any time off work I could get, I hunted, whatever. Um, and I had zero chance to shoot either of the bucks I was hunting all of early archery season. I saw one of them one time, and he was too far and he went the wrong way and facing does. Anyway, and then that year, so after all that had happened, rifle season opener, I walk out to the same place I've been hunting these two deer and I just sit down on the ground with my rifle. And then I was like, well, let's see what happens. Hopefully he comes through here and I can shoot him wherever he's at now. I got a rifle. So I'm sitting there and it had just broke daylight. I bet I didn't actually sit there for more than 30 minutes. And here comes this deer. He's coming to my left. He's like on my left, so I have to swing across. And I didn't even know what he was. All I saw was tines that were like a foot long on one side. And I was like, yeah, he'll do. And so I just picked a hole in the trees. And when he stepped into him, I just hit him, and he stopped. I shot him and he just dropped. I had no idea how big he was. I
Yeah.
mean, we're down here in southern Missouri, that's a giant down here, and when I walked up to him, I'll never forget that feeling. Like it was like cold chills just because he was laying there with his head, I could see how big. And I walked up to him. He landed in the old logging road that I was hunting on. He was just laying there in the middle of the road. I sat down on the road for, I'm not even exaggerating, 20 minutes and just stared at him. And I was so happy.
Then.
That's my favorite success story to tell just because like I had hunted so hard and yeah, I didn't kill him with a bow, but I had put in so many hours. And yeah, he wasn't one of the target deer, but he was the same caliber.
Yeah.
I put in so many hours that I just felt like, man, it paid off, you know?
Yeah. Like all the hard work, like over the years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's I think it's really cool too, like I guess the chances like we get for some of the caliber of deer that we get to see or be around and
Mm-hmm.
hunt. Um, because like not everyone like in some states have that chance or opportunity.
No, they
I
don't.
think I think everyone can, if they put in the time. But as we kind of talked about, like, um, hunting is for making memories and like enjoying it and going out. Like it doesn't really attest to what you harvest, um, but it's just really cool whenever you get like a success over a large caliber deer. I grew up in Oklahoma and there was good deer there, but like nothing like Missouri, like nothing like agriculture, like around agriculture, I should say, because there is good deer in Oklahoma if you're ag land. If you're not, they don't get the nutrients. I feel like continually produce like large whitetail. They can't
Right.
around
Okay.
ag.
Yeah, I get that.
So so moving up here to middle of Missouri. I moved up here like end of December. This was probably 20 18, 2017. Uh, yeah, I think it was
Mhm.
2018. And so it was like at the end of season. Like I hunted in Oklahoma and then I moved up here late December and I was gonna be a non-resident, have to pay for a non-resident tag. And so I didn't buy a tag because a couple of weeks of season left. I did go out and like check out some public land, did all that. But So then you go through my first summer in Missouri. I
Hmm.
started going out and like some scouting, um, which I hadn't really done that before in Oklahoma, but I was starting a little bit earlier and going out and kind of like scouting some different land and places. And so I was seeing like this group of deer that working in this corner, and it was opener. So we started September 15th in Missouri, which is a couple weeks earlier than Oklahoma starts.
Yeah.
So I hung a stand um in an area on this public land. And so day one, I hunt stand. I seen a few deer. I'm hunting, trying to find like a mature whitetail. And so day one, I hunt this stand, and I didn't really see much action, not to where like I wanted to see for, I don't know, one sit. And so I was gonna have a better wind for this corner spot where I seen like more bachelor group of deer like during the summer staying. So I take that stand down on day two, and I reposition it to hunt this corner. I did it like midday. It's like 100 degrees, and all the way up this tree was like poison oak. And
No.
so,
Oh
so I'm
no.
but no, get like in Oklahoma, like I grew up playing in the woods. I never
Yeah.
had a problem with poison. It never even crossed my mind. So
Right.
I'm just sitting there like super hot, like I'm sweating, and I'm just like sitting there chopping all the poison oak down, and I hung the stand. And but this spot, like this stand, no one would have hung it there because how much poison oak there.
Right.
But like I don't, I'm like I don't care. Like I did have long sleeves on. But so and once again I didn't get poison oak from it. Now, like a year and a half later, then for the first time I get poison oak, and now I'll get, I guess that's how it works. But anyway, so I hang, and so day three of season, uh, day three, I go in there and hunt. So this is second, technically second day hunting in Missouri.
Yeah.
And so these bad deer, they start coming out. I had to wait to get off work, go and hunt. So I, ran to that stand, got off work. And so first this like little bitty buck came out, and then a nicer, really nice buck actually stepped out, like a 10. And
Hmm.
then I saw an 8 point come out, which he was decent. But that 10, I was like, man, I mean, I'll shoot that 10. He was a 130-inch deer, one of the biggest deer I've seen, my location going up. So I see him, and I'm kind of like ready. And I look back behind that deer, and it was this middle deer right here, the one with velvet.
Yeah.
He stepped out. He stepped out, and he just looked like enormous. I mean, he just
Yeah.
looked really, really good. And like I'm like, holy smokes! Like this deer is a monster. Like biggest deer I've ever seen in my life. In person, what like even from trail cam photos. Um, and so he stepped out, and the other deer, I'm like not even thinking about all these other deer. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. Um, so all these other deer are kind of like working underneath my stand. One of the little buck, he got completely underneath the stand, and, and this buck, so that area I hadn't seen him. And I asked a few other people like, "Hey, have you seen this deer?" And they're like, "No, never even seen him." And so that deer, it ended up working, staying in the woods. So it
Hmm.
came out in the for just like a split second, like, and then went back into the woods. So I think he stayed tucked in the woods, just, didn't come out into the open. Because like I said, I never saw him, and I would watch that field and other
Yeah.
people would. But he came out and then came back into the woods and started working and kind of feeding on this like shrubble, um, like viney, stuff
Yeah.
that was low, and he just starts feeding it while all these other deer, they were working and feeding out into whatever they were eating. And so that deer starts working his way around, and I'm kind of reining him. I don't have a shot because he's in between trees, and I'm just hoping that it'll get closer. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm ranging him, and so finally it gets, I don't know, he was like 20 yards or so,
Yeah.
and he's still not in a position that would be good to draw because I had this branch coming up. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up getting all the way on my knees on my
Really?
platform.
Yeah.
So I turned completely around, got on my knees, and I leaned back and drew so that way I was away from my seat.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to lean in, and I just barely was able to get to where my bow was gonna hit this limb.
Yeah.
So he stops there, I shoot, you know, hear something, hear chaos, and I hear him run back, and it sounded like he stopped, and it sounded like he went down.
Yeah.
But at this point, like my mind is so for the worst because of all like the failure that had led up like throughout my whole childhood.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I call and talk to a couple buddies, and I'm like, man, I don't know, like I heard him fall. It felt good. It just, you just have this doubt. So
100%. Yeah.
so I get down, I get my arrow looks good,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh, I've got that hope, that joy. And so I go out and I'm like, I'm giving it time. I don't care if like I'm just super big about giving it time because of bumping them. And so I wait, a couple buddies show up, and we go, and the deer, went third and fell over right there. So like I heard him like fall, but to hold that deer like was just no, like it just gave me so much like happiness because of
Mm-hmm.
all like the failure, like um I mean, like what we talked about with just so many times that something has gone wrong, and this just happened out of the blue. Like it wasn't something that um it wasn't something that I like necessarily worked hard at this specific year, but I just felt like I
Right.
worked so hard for a moment like that. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the opportunity has been there, like for those deer in Oklahoma. The ones I was chasing that were mature bucks, and it just all screwed up. So yeah, I mean it was 164-inch deer that was in velvet, and this deer like cool, he's in velvet, and that's typical for September 18th in Missouri. And I'm getting some guys telling me because once again, signing like season in Missouri,
Yeah.
and they're like, something wrong with him, and I'm like, no, I mean like, like typical act. Does he have his testicles?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. So I was like, is that not normal? Like for a deer to be in velvet? And they're like, no, it's not. They shed their velvet normally like first week of September.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, oh, I had no idea because it being so much earlier than Oklahoma
Yeah.
or a few weeks earlier, I was just like, this is normal. And then now that I've lived here for, um, 5, almost 6 years, now
Yeah.
now I'm like, oh no, this was not normal. Like to
Right.
be able to kill a velvet deer. Granted, I don't think he would have had velvet another day. Like I bet he had it completely shaved off. Like within the next day because he was starting to pill
Hmm.
and that's what I typically see out of deer. I saw that that albino deer that I was hunting this past season, he was in velvet and he was just barely starting to crack at the tips on his antler and so he disappeared and then the next time I saw him he's just completely all velvet off. And so that happened within
Yeah. Within a few
30
hours.
hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That was like 30 hours because I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't see him for one I didn't see him for one day.
Hmm.
Uh, and I kind of had that maybe I won't see him this day because of his velvet shedding because I heard stories from other guys talking about when they're shedding velvet, deer act a little different and crazy. Have you witnessed or heard that?
I have heard it. I haven't witnessed it though. I haven't ever seen a deer. Usually
Oh,
they usually I'll have pictures of them in velvet and then by the time I actually see them, they're shed. Shed.
yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen a velvet buck from the tree. I don't
yeah.
think I have.
So, um, like to give you an example, I guess I had this trail cam photo of
Hmm.
this buck when I was guiding up north, and this deer had like completely ran through like this cornfield
Yeah.
and just had corn stalks like all over his antlers, like
Uh-huh.
just the funniest looking photo
Huh.
that of this deer. And he was shedding velvet, or
Yeah.
it looked like he was.
Could have been
And then
corn stalks.
I had a buddy, yeah, and I had a buddy that was hunting a deer, and he talked about like this deer that was running rampant all over this field, like he was trying to hunt, and he was just acting really off. Like he just sporadically would get up and like start running, like, and he was shedding velvet.
Hmm.
And then he said the next time he saw him, like it was completely off.
Yeah.
So,
Huh.
but
No, I
isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy though, like the it's like right after they shed velvet too, though, they start, being a little different. Um, being a little more safe. Um, I
hmm.
can like hunting a velvet deer, it's just like I watch them all summer and I see
Yeah.
them every day.
While we're having huge technical difficulties here with our cameras and everything. Actually, no, we need sponsors because obviously our equipment is not very good. First
I
Light,
don't know that
hit us up.
I don't know that our equipment's not good, but it may be us, maybe
It's
personal.
definitely us. We're still learning. We'll get the kinks
So
worked
anyway,
out.
so we had some more technical difficulties. Uh, yeah, so we got fiber here recently, and it's working as far as I think. Like on my end, like it's worked really, really good. It's actually blown me away.
It's working way better than my
So,
Wi-Fi.
well, you're gonna have fiber soon, aren't you?
I hope. Gosh, they've been working on it since like the fall, last fall. They started digging the lines in, and then they'll just show up random times through the week and like be working out there. I'll see them, and then they're gone for a few days, and they come back.
I think there's a lot of subcontractors for the fiber running,
Yeah, there is.
and like the companies like hire guys, and I think they make like some bank. Like I think if like you're a fiber like worker right now, like you're making some serious money.
Yeah, you are. I know first. Yeah.
Yeah, which it would make sense because
Oh
like
yeah. Well, it's a high demand right
yeah,
now. Everybody wants fiber because it's so much faster.
yeah.
But as of right
All right.
now, we're doing all right.
Yeah, so yeah, finishing up that story and talking about Velvet. Yeah, I mean that's just not to be wrong. I mean as far that's what I've seen and witnessed.
Hmm.
With deer just getting a little different personalities like after their velvet. And
Yeah.
uh, so like what so I think that's like why there's such a drive to go and hunt like Tennessee like incorporated the few day hunt velvet.
The velvet season.
Um
Yep.
Kentucky starts early enough to be able to kill like harvest a velvet deer.
Yep.
Kansas, I think I saw Kansas has an early season. I think this past season, Kansas did a youth velvet season, like early, like for youth hunters specifically,
Hmm.
which was really, really crazy. So one thing that I wanted to ask about talking about like the success was I guess what pieces, if any, did you take away, like learning pieces from success? And it may not be a story that you told us, be
Right.
from something else. And it may
Yeah.
not even have been like a giant caliber deer. It just was like you had success and you're like, wait, did this like help me along? And yeah, so do you have anything that you've thought about?
Honestly, every every success and failure is teaches you something. But I think the biggest takeaway that I have from most of my success is I get it really, if you want me to be 100% honest, it's like it seems to always happen when I don't expect it. So like,
Yeah.
um, I don't know why, I don't
I
really
think
know the words to describe what I'm trying to say here. But it seems like
we
don't
talked
overthink
about,
it, you know? Um, you put I mean, definitely put in the time, put in the work, but it seems like if you start overthinking it and just go, you can go way too deep into it. Yeah, that's basically what it is. I mean, I just, don't think too much into it, I guess, is what I learned from my success. My failures make me think even more into it. But then when I have success, I'm like, wow,
yeah,
that really wasn't that hard. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So,
Well, I think the word persistence, like
hmm.
persistent,
Oh, it's
like
key.
would be a
The,
good.
the more time you spend in the woods, the more chances you have. And so if
Oh, you just came back.
Yeah, it reloaded. I don't know, dude. Mm. Anyway, persistence is key. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You know, um, and also always, always, always play the wind for deer. Turkeys is a whole
Yeah.
different situation. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that we're gonna get into on the next one, which I'm excited about.
Me
You
too.
better be ready because I'm gonna have like a notebook of like a
Yeah,
bunch of questions
I
and then
hope
just
you
take
do,
notes
dude.
because
Because I can talk. I love to deer hunt. I can talk deer all
yeah,
day long. But if you want to talk about success, and for me personally,
yeah.
turkeys. I
Well, hold on, wait. I want to hear a success turkey story.
Which one of the three do you want? That's just
Well,
three, but
whichever one that
let's
like
see.
popped
Let's
in your
start right
head that
here.
was like, uh-huh.
So this one right here is my first long beard I ever killed.
Yeah,
Me and my dad had hunted this turkey for a few days, over the weekend, I think it was the first weekend of turkey season. I don't even remember what year it was. It was I was in high school. Um, we'd hunted him over the weekend and then didn't get him killed, but he did the same thing every day. We just he went to the same area every day. He would just take a different path. So finally we got it figured out, but then I had to go back to school on Monday. Well, the whole week went by, and then my dad doesn't work on Fridays, and Thursday night he told me, I'm gonna go kill that turkey in the morning. And then I was mad. I was like, I'm going with you. And he was like, you got to go to school. I was like, we can have him killed before school. And he finally
Yeah.
was like, okay. Which now looking back on it, I feel kind of bad because my dad hasn't killed a turkey since I started turkey hunting, I don't think, because I always kill, he always lets me kill him. But
Yeah.
but we went out there that Friday morning, got right under him, and he came right in. He gobbled. The craziest thing was he was a fully mature gobbler, but he sounded like a Jake whenever he was gobbling that morning. I don't know why.
Hmm.
He was gobbling weird, and my dad, I sat down, and the turkey flew down. My dad was behind me calling and couldn't see anything. And the turkey came in. I saw him. We got to see him strutting and spitting and drumming and all that's cool stuff. And then I shot him, and my dad walked up there and was like, "Well, that ain't the one we were after." I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about," because I could see his beard hanging and everything. I knew how big he was, and dad was like, "Well, that was a Jake." I was like, "No, sure wasn't." And we go up there anyway, and I was back at school by 8 o'clock.
Oh, that's awesome.
Then the one over here, that one was a couple years ago. I guess it was 4 years ago now. Um, Me and dad got out there early and we had this bird just absolutely hammering. Not this one, not this
Yeah.
bird, but a different bird, absolutely hammering on the roost. And got up underneath him. He flew down. It was the picture perfect turkey hunt. I mean, he flew right down to us, was strutting in front of me and everything, and he was at like I'm gonna say he was at 60 yards. I was hunting my 12 gauge. Uh, he was probably at 60 yards, and I thought he was at 50. So I shoot, and he just flew off. I completely missed him. Well, as soon as I shot this one, just the next ridge over. So I literally just I was sitting in a tree, and I was like right on the edge of a ridge. Like it was just a little narrow ridge that came down, and it just dropped off deep and went up the other side. So I just turned at my tree and sat there, and this bird came off the other side. I could see him the whole way. Dad just kept following where from where he was at. This bird came all the way off the other side, crossed the bottom, and came up the hill right to me, and I just rolled him. It was awesome. And then
Wow.
this one in the middle, I
Yeah.
killed him last year. That was the first turkey I had ever actually killed. Not the first, I guess, but the biggest one I'd ever killed, like completely by myself. No one was with me. I killed him at like 10:30 in the morning. I hunted
Yeah.
over here where I live with our friend Tucker, and we didn't hear anything early in the morning. We got back to my house at like 8 o'clock, I think. Hadn't heard nothing,
Yeah.
and then I was like,
Which
and this was the
one?
first Sunday. Do what?
Yeah. Which you hunt till one. So you got
Yeah,
like for Missouri, like last year. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I could hunt till 1, so I got back here and I was like, well, I'm gonna drive to over where our cabin is, which is 45 minutes away, my family's cabin. I was like, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna kill a turkey. I couldn't talk Tucker into going with me. He was like, no, I'm done. He's like, I'm gonna stay here. All right, whatever. So I
Yeah.
get in the truck and I take off. And when I get to the cabin, it's 10:30 when I pulled in the parking lot. I've like pulled up to the cabin. I get out, I walk just back behind the cabin a little ways on our property and call, and I hear this one just answered me. I was like, okay. So I took
Yeah.
off to him and started walking up the hill, and he gobbled again, and he was closer. So I just sat down, and I'm sitting like basically straight up because the hill's so steep. I just put my back against the tree, and I was straight up, and I called to him, and he just poked his head over the side, and I just shot him. That was the first. Oh, that was the first one I killed with my 410. Yeah, dude, it
Oh,
was
that's
cool. It was
but
awesome. I
I've
love
seen a
turkey
few
hunting.
you I've I've seen a few you get going that 14 are out.
Yeah,
So Yeah, which is kind of cool. Cause
Dude, the
like with
410 is
me,
the
yeah,
410's
like with
awesome.
me, like that'd be kind of cool to pick up a 410 and go, shoot a deer like again.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, the
So
410 for turkeys, dude, I'm in love with it. A lot of people give me crap. They say that it's not a real turkey gun, whatever. I like it personally. The 100% the reason I bought it is because it's so light. I hate packing around my Mossberg heavy 12 gauge, through the woods. This 410,
yeah,
it weighs, I could shoot it one handed. It doesn't weigh anything. So,
yeah,
and dude, they shoot so good.
yeah.
But actually, yeah, it's awesome. I'm so
Hey,
excited.
I've got wrapped today, so I have to tell you this idea.
Okay.
So, so I was talking to Jace at work today, and I was like, we
Mm-hmm.
ought to get a few guys and like do a like how cheap can we harvest like a deer per pound?
Mm-hmm.
So like because we were thinking about like how much money we have like put into hunting and like going out and how much like you're paying for that deer meat like per pound. Well, I was
Yeah.
like, what if we go like you get like a group of guys or whoever wants to do it and everything you walk into the woods with, that is your dollar amount that you are like spending on that hunt to harvest that deer. Besides like cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
But like if you're filming
Yeah.
like stands, your clothes, whatever clothes you have on, whatever their price tag is, your weapon,
Mm-hmm.
uh, everything that you get. If you get a pair of Oakleys that are $200, like
Yep.
they go in with you,
Yep.
that counts.
Yeah.
So anyways, then you harvest a deer, and then we get the meat off it and then weigh it, and then so if someone shoots a larger deer, it's gonna help them out better. If
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
someone shoots like a year and a half old deer,
Yeah.
like they're not gonna get as much meat. But I
Right.
just thought that was really cool.
That would
Like
be cool, dude.
I would,
If you
and,
really
and
think about
I,
like,
I would love like the deer meat if
yeah.
or we could do like, share the harvest,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
That would
I
be
thought it'd be kind
cool. But I know personally, if we're adding it up that way, I'm paying a lot per pound for deer meat.
yeah.
I try
Because
not to.
I was joking with Jace, the guy that works like with me. Um, I was like, my goal because like I'm excited to go turkey hunting, not only for like just to go out there and enjoy it with buddies and nature
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. But there were some guys that made some jalapeno popper like last year with turkeys, and dude,
Yep.
I have not got the taste out of my mouth. And so,
Yeah.
anyways, I told Chase, I was like, all right, my goal is to kill enough turkeys to eat turkey once a week for the rest of the year.
I don't know if we have
Yeah, I
enough tags for that.
don't think I could, but
We'd have to,
it's so,
dude.
it
I love
sucks. It
turkey.
sucks. I know, but it sucks the amount of meat you get off of a turkey, and you only got like so like short of like if it's
Yeah.
only in Missouri, it's two birds.
Yeah. I killed this one in the middle here last year. When I killed him, I had exactly 2 meals worth of meat, is what it was. I
Yeah,
ate it twice. But then
two
again, I
birds.
did feed uh, several people both times I cooked it. So I could have made it, I could have stretched it out more if I was just feeding like just me and my wife. But when I cooked it, I had 5 or 6 people both times eating. So it goes quick,
Yeah,
but oh, it's so good. I'm gonna try to go find
so
some
good.
morels this weekend
Yeah, I
because
think
they
I've
go.
got to try spring trio. I've got to like do a day of turkey hunting, crappie fishing, and merle finding.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to see I've got to see what a day of that's about. Like put our day aside and be like, all right,
Mm,
this is what I'm doing.
it's the best day, dude. It's the best day. I
That just
I
sounds
think I think well, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Hold on, I'll get it back. Oh, you could what you have to do is you gotta get up, you gotta kill your turkey by, pretty early in the morning, and then you just spend the rest of the till like 1 o'clock or noon or 1 o'clock looking for mushrooms, and then when it hits that time, then you go crappie fishing, and then you just spend the whole evening cooking it all.
cooking. Oh my gosh, dude.
Hey, are we
Hey,
gonna? Have you looked into any more about the island turkeys?
the island I'm doing the island turkeys.
Are you doing the
I'm
island turkey?
listen, me and a buddy, we went out and found some islands like on the rivers.
Mm-hmm.
And so my goal with this was I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to go like island hop, put some cameras where I can and see if I can find an old buck, just because if you get some age like around certain areas around here, like that's gonna
Yep.
be a nice deer.
Yep.
So I'm like, I'm gonna try like find where I can find some like age on some deer. So I'm like, let me go to some islands. So I call up a buddy. It's got a boat, and so we're riding around, going and checking out these islands for deer. And I probably shouldn't be saying this, but like every island we went to had turkeys on it.
Really?
And so there's an island that had a bunch of turkeys on it. And I texted my buddy like tweak, and I was like, we have to go and get turkey. So what
Yes.
I was talking with you, like I would love to get like a day together and go and do that. I think that would be really cool. Just such a different experience. And that was also what I was trying to do with whitetail. I just wanted some sort of different adventure
Yes.
that would be fun.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
but yeah, we're gonna do that. Like that is such a high priority over the next like month.
Oh yeah.
It's
No, we're
gotta
gonna do it.
happen.
We'll get it done.
I saw
Well,
I saw like 40 turkeys a quarter
yep.
mile down the road.
And I'm back.
I'll
I'm
just
back
start
again.
off from where I left. But
Yeah.
did you did you see on my story the other day? So like a quarter mile down the road,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
40.
Yeah.
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 Dude, it was kind of cool seeing all those. But I've been seeing a bunch. Like
Yeah.
traveling back from Georgia from the bow shoot there,
Mhm.
I saw these, and then this past week and go down to southern Missouri to Hoot down there. I saw turkeys. So they're out there. It's crazy how they just kind of pop up around this time. Like you
Yeah,
don't
they do.
see them
You don't.
much.
Yep. Then they get all excited and they're just out and about.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, come here, ladies. Is this
Yeah.
what you want? Is this
Yeah.
what you want?
Dude, oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Well, we've only got a few days till we leave for Nebraska.
No, that's really awesome. Like I've got that like new camera and lens, and I'm like stoked to go get some cool content and video. Like,
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm just ready to shoot a turkey, to be honest.
yeah,
Oh,
I think it'll be
I'm so
cool. I've been seeing a lot of cool, like good videos of turkey, and I'm like, oh, I could do that with this camera. So I think it'll
oh
be
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, get them
Leaning
up
leaning
close.
leaning back into success though, real quick.
Yeah.
Um, I think that I just like deer that I shot, velvet. One thing that I used was I listened to Levi Morgan on a podcast, and he was talking about like I just struggled so bad with target and it can like or big buck like feed like
Hmm.
um like just dude, I mean like the shakes like
Yeah, yeah.
gets so bad. You ever seen that like that little dog that's like shaking on that pail and it's
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah.
he's staying whenever
Yeah.
a walks in, that's me. Like
Yeah, me
completely
too.
me.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was listening to a podcast the day before at work over um like Levi was hunting this I don't know, it was some sort of sheep, I think. And he was having to watch this sheep at like 120 yards or a distance where he just couldn't shoot and it was just there and dude he was like he was getting some fever like pretty bad.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so what he did was he like took his rangefinder and just started um like shooting different areas like okay if that the sheep goes there like I'll shoot it for just to kind of get his mind.
Hmm.
I used that next day so hard. Like I don't know if I could have like been calm and hopefully like that shot without like me trying to use that as like just constantly like, focusing on the number.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I've implant used that now like I try to focus on like what is that now like what do I shoot it for like try to divert like that just big buck
Yeah.
the best I can.
See,
um
I I don't I don't struggle with that as much when the deer is coming in, but as
mhm.
soon, and I'm not even joking, as soon whether even if I miss, as soon as I release the shot, whether I'm pulling a
Yeah.
trigger on a gun or, letting an arrow fly, as soon as it's gone, I'm like shaking, dude. I missed during muzzleloader season
Break
this.
loose.
Yeah, as soon like during muzzleloader season this past year, I was sitting on the ground and I had a buck. He wasn't even a great buck, but he was like good, a decent buck, run past me from behind me at 5 yards. Like he ran past me and stopped at like 12 yards in front of me. And I missed him completely because it just happened so fast. But dude, when he was running away, I couldn't even stand up. Like I was just shaking so bad. I just get so excited for no, like, I don't know. It's
That's
crazy.
awesome. Like I just don't it's just when like people like able to like witness that or have that like I know that some people might not like that don't hunt or don't understand it, but like the people
Hmm.
who love it wait for moments like that.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing. Isn't it like weird though? Because like you get that big buck fever or that like well, it doesn't even have to be over a big buck though. I mean
Mm-mm.
like sh- I get excited shooting a doe.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
knowing that I'm like drawing back and like
yeah,
and out there, it's just like something else. It's just I mean it's like if you're competitive in your sport and whatever that sport is, like you're about to hit the game winning shot or
yeah,
you're up to and it's bottom of the ninth, like it's on
yeah,
you.
yeah,
It's just feeling it's so cool because you can experience that like more times than not.
yep. No, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But anyway, we probably need to wrap this up. Um,
Yep.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how to wrap it up, I guess. I mean,
Well, I
basically,
mean, go over what this podcast, for the success, I think you can take away, like, even in the failures, you can take some away, add to a positive success. When you have success, like, soak it in, like, enjoy that moment. Like, don't take that moment away from yourself.
Yep.
Um, because like me, I can get placed back into those moments so quick, and it's so easy. So just like sit down and just enjoy that moment. Like um, soak in and just love it. But yeah, take anything you can from that success, future, have more success, because guys are very consistent on killing, harvesting deer or mature deer. Like I feel like they can build upon that success. Like
Yes.
they can.
Yep.
Like, hey, what did I do from this, and how did this work in my favor? Like, man, why do these like use these travel routes so much? And then you like get back and look, and it's like a perfect route. Um, or maybe timing of year, like they're just using that corridor better. So just make sure you learn something off that. But I hope
Hmm.
that helped. Uh, yeah, our next podcast we're gonna dive into some turkey
Turkey
hunting.
time.
Turkey time. So
Yep.
yeah, it's there. It's here. I'm already seeing birds like hit the ground. And it's I think Florida may be open right now.
Florida and Mississippi's open.
Sweet.
Um, yeah, but it's going to be awesome. So stay tuned. We got some awesome turkey stuff coming up. We'll see. We'll talk turkeys next podcast, but be sure to leave us some comments, like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review, depending on where you're watching or listening to this at. And anyway, in the meantime, you know, just think about what we said and really soak in the success and learn from it
Yeah.
and learn from your failures as well. Anyway, we'll see y'all in the next one.